Coming up on this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
What will the trend be for the cattle markets as we head towards the end of the year? We've got expert analysis from CattleFax. Plus, learn how good heifer management today leads to stronger performance and profits tomorrow.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Hello and welcome to Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Ochsner. Fall is a critical time for cattle producers because market performance can directly impact your plans for next year. And joining us now to talk about the market outlook for the rest of the year is Troy Appelhans with CattleFax. Troy, the fall calf run is well underway. We continue to see some exceptionally strong prices. And there's no doubt that we have short supplies. I've read articles suggesting the smallest calf crop since 1941 or so. But beyond just supplies and that tight supplies, what else is driving this market and what could impact us moving into next year?
This has been a tremendous run, Kevin. I mean, if you think about cattle cycles in general and factor in that most people have a 40 to 50 year working career, you get to enjoy these types of markets about 4 or 5 times in your life.
That's right.
Right? And so this has been a market that has been a little bit different from any other that I've experienced from the standpoint that it's been a highly demand-driven market. We've seen, both you and I have seen supply-driven markets quite a bit. But this one has been so demand-driven. And not only that, the things that are a little bit different about this one compared to some of the ones that we've seen in the past is there's been a lot of policy decisions that have been made that have really elevated this market maybe to levels that maybe doesn't have as much to do with the cattle fundamentals. Those two things that really elevated this market happened in early July. You know, we got a news conference by Secretary of Agriculture that essentially stated that the Mexican border was closed for the foreseeable future. The following day is when there was an additional 50% tariff added to Brazil, which made a little bit of that imported product a little bit price prohibitive. So not only did we have a tremendous demand-driven market, but then it also became a supply-driven market as well.
What amazes me is cattle feeders seem to keep coming and paying what they need to pay to fill their feed yards. I'm curious, what do you see as the market outlook for feeders through the rest of this year and into next year?
Cattle feeders have had a tremendous run for a sustained period of time. The profitability in the feed yards and the cattle feeding segment has been tremendous. And we know that when they've bought those cattle as calves or yearlings, that they were buying a break-even that maybe didn't look so attractive to them. But as the market has continued to move higher, the market's taking care of them. And I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that there is an expiration date to this cattle cycle, and they're going to buy break-evens that don't work again, and at some point the market won't take care of them. That being said, we still feel like that cattle feeders are going to be able to sustain some losses. Hopefully it's not for a sustained period of time, but it's going to be very beneficial to the cow-calf producers as well as the stocker operators.
So as we move into 2026, what should producers be thinking about relative to managing this market in the following year?
Well, as I mentioned, I think that the end of the cattle cycle peak is going to occur, if it hasn't already, right? We would anticipate that if it's not this fall, it's probably sometime into next spring. And due to the fact that we've had some policy decisions that have maybe influenced the market more so than maybe the overall fundamentals would have suggested, we can have an abrupt correction to this market at some point. Not that we feel like that it's going to stay there, but you can have a sustained correction to the market, and obviously if you're in the mode of selling cattle during that time of that market correction, it can wound you a little bit. So I think we've got to continue to focus on managing risk as we go forward through 2026 because the cycle peak is more near than it was obviously a month ago.
Great advice. Real quick, tell us a couple things about that Outlook seminar at CattleCon that we should look forward to.
You know, CattleFax looks forward to that every year because it really gives us an opportunity to kind of set the tone with regards to our outlook to the market. Not that we're always right, and obviously things change throughout the year, but I think it does give us an opportunity to get in front of a tremendous amount of people and kind of recalibrate with regards to our supply and demand fundamentals, production, weather outlook, grain outlooks. It's a tremendous opportunity for everyone to come to see us and for us to see them. So we hope to see them there.
I will certainly see you there. Thank you for coming to the show, Troy.
Thanks for having me.
Now, if you're looking for top-notch beef industry research, information, and analysis, then visit the website CattleFax.com. Also, make sure you register for CattleCon 26 so you can check out the CattleFax U.S. Global Protein and Grain Outlook Seminar. You can get all the details on how to attend at the website convention.ncba.org. A strong future for the beef industry starts with teamwork to ensure we're all working together to move the industry forward. And joining us now is Valerie Bass, Executive Director of the Tennessee Beef Industry Council. Valerie, why is a strong state and national partnership through the Federation of State Beef Councils important to the success of the beef industry?
Well, it really allows us to be efficient with producer dollars. It helps us take the money that stays in the state and marry it up with the money that that we invest in the Federation, and really maximize for producers those checkoff dollars and use them efficiently and wisely.
So tell us, how do you work to coordinate beef promotion efforts while ensuring a consistent message?
Well, one of the first things we do is we make sure that our work is aligned with the long-range plan, and then we also come to different meetings, one being PIA, Partners in Action, and we understand what resources are going to be available nationally, and we take those assets back and utilize those within our state for a cohesive message.
As I understand, you had a chance to raise awareness for beef at a Major League Baseball game held at a racetrack. Tell us about that event and what it meant to the beef industry.
Well, that was one of our highlights this last year. We partnered with 6 other states and pooled our money together, and were able to have a presence at the Speedway Classic in Bristol. This was where the Braves and the Reds met for a classic showdown, and we were able to have an on-site presence with a booth that met with consumers. Our booth was very popular. We gave away a lot of beef resources and beef jerky, and we got a lot of time to speak with consumers. We had producers on site, and we also had a digital campaign that NCBA helped to place for us, and we reached over 1.2 million consumers and celebrated beef at the Speedway Classic.
Now, you had actual producers at the event. I'm curious, what impact does it have when you have real cattle producers share their stories face to face?
Well, I think that was one of the highlights for our cattle producers. We had cattle producers from all of the states that were involved, and they were on site speaking to consumers. They were able to answer consumer questions, and I think they got a lot of positive feedback. Just thanks for doing what they do, for raising the product that they raise. And we were able to interact with a lot of consumers and just really bring a face to the industry with our cowboys that were there.
So even though it happened in Tennessee, are there ways that other states can benefit from these kind of promotional efforts?
Absolutely. All of the partners that were there, all of the states that took part to make that happen, did a wonderful job, and they were all able to take those wins back to their states. The Federation came in as a fantastic partner for us and really made everything work together. All in all, it was a real home run for beef.
Thanks, Valerie, for your good work and your time today. Now, if you want to learn more about some of the ways checkoff dollars are being used to increase beef demand, then check out the Beef It's What's for Dinner website. You'll also find things like recipes, facts about nutrition, and great information you can use to talk to your friends and neighbors about the sustainability of the beef industry. Still ahead on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll show you how focusing on heifer health improves the profitability of one Tennessee operation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You always know where this one is. But what about this one? Or this one? Imagine knowing your machines the way you know your cattle, where they are and what they need. Data like that could make a difference. You can make better decisions for more efficiency, consistency, productivity. That's the power of technology. Get started with Operations Center today.
Join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. There are big benefits to being a member. You'll get industry news in the National Cattlemen, email updates in the NCBA Beef Bulletin, plus discounts just for NCBA members. Join by calling 866-233-3872 or online at ncba.org.
Raising healthy heifers is key to the success of every beef cow herd. When managed well, heifers become a long-term asset to a cattle operation. So how can you ensure the health and longevity of your heifers? We visited a Tennessee-based seed stock operation to get some insights.
Bart and Sarah Jones operate Red Hill Farms, a seventh-generation farm based in the hills of northern Tennessee and southern Kentucky. Their seed stock operation features a mix of cattle breeds with a special focus on reproductive health.
We keep a large percent of our heifers and breed them. Probably 80-85% of our females that are born here are bred here. Many of those will stay in the herd, and some of those are sold as replacements. But heifer development and heifer retention is very important to the sustainability of our operation. All the cows are weighed and body condition scored every year at pregnancy check or weaning. Then we monitor that heifer's condition all from weaning until the AI, because that has a direct correlation to our breed up percentage.
I really like working with the Jones family because, one, their passion for what they do. They're innovative. I really appreciate their approach to everything. Everything's prevention with them.
In fact, Red Hill Farms was recognized as the 2024 Beef Improvement Federation Seed Stock Producer of the Year. The Joneses' focus on healthy heifers played a major role in earning that recognition.
We think it's extremely important, and we encourage our producers to retain their own females, because the females that you raise are adapted to your management, your pasture rotation, your environment. In today's world, the cost of the replacement heifers is astronomical. We're looking at $3,000 plus just to develop a heifer. So when you spend that money and make that investment on a replacement heifer, it's extremely important that she lasts for a long time to get that return on investment.
Heifers are the future. They're the future of our herd. They're genetic progress. So when we set up our heifers, we're setting ourselves up for future success.
Developing heifers requires a strategic approach. That's why Beringer Ingelheim works with producers to implement a 3-tenant program to build heifer health.
At Beringer, we have what's called a Healthy Heifers program, and it consists of 3 pillars, which is management, vaccination, and parasite control. We want to make sure that we're strategically vaccinating. We're doing things to help eliminate potential for disease transmission within the herd. And the veterinarian who's familiar with the herd production system can make some really good recommendations regarding animal health and preventive medicine.
The vaccine protocol that I recommend for calves, heifers, growing stock, modified live is always going to be superior. There's no way of getting around that. Here at the Jones Farm, we do 2 rounds of modified live before weaning, and obviously pre-breeding, very important.
We believe in the modified live vaccines. Of course, our calves would have had a couple rounds of the modified live when they were on the pasture with their mamas. And then at yearling time, our heifers are getting the Express FP. We really think it does a very good job preparing those heifers for breeding.
Beyond vaccines, protecting heifer health also requires the control of internal parasites that are picked up as the animal grazes.
We deworm our cattle to improve our weight gains, improve our forage utilization and our forage efficiency, and to create a healthier animal.
Parasites rob nutrition from the animal. When they're dealing with parasites, they can't take full advantage of the nutrition program, whether the cattle are eating, grazing forages or even eating some supplement from a feed bunk. So we want to control parasites so that we get optimal growth and optimal fertility, especially in heifers.
With parasite control, a sound vaccination program, and good management, the Jones family has made healthy heifers the foundation of a profitable cattle business.
As a livestock producer, there's stress in our lives, but there's also stress in our animals' lives. And, it's important for us to think ahead and think of what stress is coming for our animals and try to prepare to give them the best life possible.
I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Still to come, we'll show you how the Natural Resources Conservation Service helps farmers and ranchers protect and improve their land. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Cattle producers across the country work hard to care for their animals and their land. The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service is there to help. Find out how you can work with NRCS to develop a conservation plan for your operation. Find possible funding resources for implementing conservation practices, or get free expert advice on ways to improve your farm or ranch. Visit the website nrcs.usda.gov today.
Protecting the environment is a priority for many cattle producers, and the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service is helping make that possible. Here's a look at how NRCS is helping an Iowa farmer improve both his sustainability and his profitability.
It's early morning in western Iowa, and Steve and Michelle Sprague are out checking their cattle. In recent years, they've converted some of their former cropland to grazing.
Well, you can see just the lay of the land. We farm a lot of things that we probably shouldn't, that would be much better suited to pasture. But if we can increase the pounds of beef on each acre that we have by changing our grazing management, that allows us to raise more beef on that same amount of acres, and I think can compete with the profitability of corn and soybeans.
I wanted cows when we got married and told him that. I don't know if he believed me, but I was very adamant that we should have cows someday. But then once we had the cows, I thought goal achieved, and I was ready to just take care of cows and move on. He has really looked into some of the local programs and the programs that NRCS offers to help improve our farms and our pasture ground and implement watering systems and rotational grazing systems and ways to really improve the land and improve the cattle and improve the lifestyle for us in running cattle on pasture.
They have stepped up and they have looked at, I got the steep hills here, what's the best land use? It's getting it seeded down. If I seed it down, what's the most profit potential to make this work in our operation and lifestyle? It's cows. So they are using the right system for their land.
Looking to improve herd health, the Spragues shifted calving to late spring, keeping their cows on pasture rather than in a dry lot. And working with the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service, they added fencing and watering facilities to support a rotational grazing system.
When I first got the idea to start the rotational grazing, I really didn't have intentions of doing daily moves. So we thought, well, maybe we'll cut this piece into 4 paddocks. As we started to explore that, research it a little more, and actually put that into practice, we've gone all the way to daily moves now. I think it's best for the soil, for the pastures, and for animal health as well.
The results of the Spragues going to a daily move has been exponential. They have improved their overall forage production, improved their soil health, and their overall herd health.
In theory, you can probably eventually almost double your grazing capacity. Now, that takes time. It does not happen overnight. But that, as people go into rotational grazing, they can do one of 2 things. Either extend their grazing period so they have less hay to feed out there, or increase their cow herd. Steve's doing a combination of both.
Steve and Michelle also replaced much of their winter hay needs with a practice known as swath grazing.
So swath grazing is something unique to this area that Steve and Michelle do. They typically go out sometime in mid to late summer, plant some summer annuals. Typically it's a very diverse mix, upwards of 10 to 20 species. Mow that down December, January, and swath, put in windrows for the livestock to graze throughout the winter. It's great for the soil health, provides diversity out there, reduces compaction. It's a lot less trips across the field than baling it. It's great to have livestock out there spreading the nutrients back out.
It's simply putting up or taking down poly wire. You don't have to start a tractor every day. You don't have to haul hay out to the cows every day. Basically, I swath it and windrow it and set up fence and just allow the cows to graze that and feed themselves. So with using the swath grazing, we were able to cut our fed hay in half this last year, actually less than half from the previous year.
Much of what the Spragues have accomplished on their land has been with help from the local NRCS team.
I just thought it was a great resource to start with the local NRCS. They've got a lot of knowledge. They have several different cost share options that allow you and help fund these changes. For instance, going from farm ground to permanent pasture. They've got some cost shares to help with the interseeding, with the internal fencing and paddock management.
I think we've definitely made a lot of progress in a more direct path and also a faster path in working with NRCS than what we would have on our own. The NRCS offers just a broad wealth of knowledge and experience. They get to see everybody's operations. So they have a lot more experience and a lot more perspectives than what we have just seeing our daily operation.
There's more to be done, but the Spragues say they already see a healthier landscape as well as the opportunity for more profitability from their cattle.
By improving the soil health, we're growing more forage on the same acres and in turn growing more beef. But I think a combination of the things, going to the rotational grazing, moving our calving season back to be more in time with nature, it just saves a huge amount of labor and feed and therefore cost, which directly reflects on your profitability.
Reporting from Audubon County, Iowa, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
If you have conservation practices you'd like to put in place on your operation, you should start by visiting with your local NRCS office about the technical and financial assistance they provide. Go to the website nrcs.usda.gov to find an office near you. We'll be back to wrap up our show right after this. Stay with us.
CattleCon 2026 heads to the heart of Nashville, February 3rd to the 5th. Music City is the place to be for the largest cattle industry event of the year, offering education, networking, and fun. Plus, you can check out the huge NCBA trade show, outstanding entertainment, and more. Go where the beef industry meets. CattleCon 2026 in Music City, downtown Nashville, February 3rd to the 5th. Visit convention.ncba.org for more.
Welcome back. Now, if you're in the cattle business, you'll benefit by being in Nashville from February 3rd through the 5th. Those are the dates for CattleCon 26, as thousands of producers come together for a mix of business, education, and networking. We asked NCBA President-elect Gene Copenhaver to share his thoughts on why this event is so important to the beef industry.
CattleCon is important for producers, one, for the networking. It's number one, and to talk to people from all over the country and see how they do things. The other thing is the education effort. We've stepped up our game this year. Every registration includes Cattlemen's College. I think it's big for the industry to come and see different education issues and be able to be part of that. And the third thing is the trade show. The trade show gets better and better every year. The exhibitors there, they have great products, and we get to look at those products right on site and get to decide whether we need to use those products. CattleCon is going to be great in 2026.
It's not too early to start making plans to attend CattleCon 26 in downtown Nashville, February 3rd through the 5th. Registration is now open, and you can get all the details at the website convention.ncba.org. We're wrapping up this week's show with legacy photos. These are shots submitted by our viewers of daily life on the farm or ranch. Let's take a look. We'd sure like to feature your photos on Cattlemen to Cattlemen. You can send pictures to us through the Cattlemen to Cattlemen Facebook page or by emailing them to c2c@beef.org. Send them our way and we may use them on a future episode. Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for spending time with us. We'll see you again next week right here on RFD TV.